hear that?
Made up movies, made up movies.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Made up movies, made up movies. Made up movies. Movies in your face now. Come and get an earful. Made up movies, made up movies. Hello and welcome to Made Up Movies. I'm Matt Shore, and this here with me.
Hey, I'm Mike Kolar, and I'm also here with you.
Yeah, we're together on this one. And here's the thing, is that people love to watch cinema films. So do we, and we are two professional film critics. So people suggest like obscure movies you might not have heard of, and we watch them so you don't have to, and we summarize them for you. That's what we do here. We're film critics, yeah?
Yeah, we're film critics. I feel like
We're film critics.
we watch movies and then we review them, and that makes us, critics.
As much as any of those jokers in Washington.
Are you going to talk about Joker again this episode?
I don't want to bring up Joker because I know a lot of people got upset.
It's been 30
that I
seconds
said-
and you already brought up Joker. Sort of.
Well, the thing is, I was watching Impractical Jokers earlier today.
Oh, okay.
As like a way of weaning myself off of the regular Joker movie
Uh-huh.
that I watch every other day. And I was like, well, I'm already watching Joker, so why not put the other one on?
Oh, then you watched the actual Joker again anyway.
I put them both on. I have two TVs, and so I just put one on one TV, one on the other, and sort of like the cacophony that created did something to my head. So I'm really excited to talk about society and its issues
Oh, boy.
this time.
Oh, jeez.
Because sometimes, it feels like the people are in charge are the real crooks. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
like
is that the moral of Joker or whatever?
I haven't finished it. It's pretty scary. So
What?
I get
You watch it all
like
the
15
time.
minutes in. I mean, I watched the first 15 or so when he's just like what I consider to be an average guy doing
Yeah.
open mics and, lusting after his neighbor.
Who is
kinda
not
like
interested,
my
and
life.
then he murders, by the way. You know that.
What?
right? Yeah,
Spoilers?
I told you that.
Come
I told you that
on.
last time. He murders her. He's not a good guy. And
Oh, right.
Can we talk about the movie
I
we're-
have
can we
seen
talk about the
it.
other
I have
movie?
seen it.
yeah, you've seen it.
Oh, right. So actually, I have seen it. I was getting it confused with Mask of the Phantasm, which is a little bit too scary for me. And also has Joker in it. Did you know that Joker is actually a recurring character amongst several films?
That's
It's
Joaquin
news to me.
Phoenix, and he is an actor. And as a film critic, I thought that's day one film critic stuff that you should
I'm
know.
new to this. So I was watching Signs because I was like, I read some interesting. It's a podcast that Mel Gibson has been doing from his house.
Oh, jeez.
It's not released on traditional media because I think from what I've heard, it's too real.
Uh-huh.
For that is what he keeps saying over and over. And he has some interesting ideas. Joe Rogan won't have him on.
Joe Rogan have on
Because it's-
anybody. He'll have
It's right, but it's not like normal stuff like what like an Alex Jones might say. It's like a little out there.
Jeez. What is it on? Is it on ham radio or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I have to use my dad's ham radio. If you guys want to talk to my dad on ham radio, he's KG8MR. You can literally talk to my dad. He'd love to talk to anyone who isn't talking to him about the movie Joker.
You mean his
what happens
son?
is
His son, you?
yeah, he doesn't want to talk to me because all I want to talk about is Joker. And
Yeah.
it does this thing to my brain when I watch Joker with Impractical Jokers where I can't really remember the past couple days. So then I really got to watch Joker again. And I kind of forget what happens.
Do you remember watching the movie we're supposed to discuss today?
No, I don't. What is the movie?
How do you know?
Well, you can remind me. All right. So this suggestion comes from our friend. We got suggested a movie from Robert Carroll, our friend Robbie, and he suggested you got to see this movie. It's like a foreign film, and it's like kind of a ripoff of Die Hard, but it all takes place in a McDonald's.
Yeah, in Bulgaria.
In Bulgaria.
Yeah.
Right. And so they're speaking English not well necessarily, but like it's
I thought it was dubbed for the first 30 minutes, and it's not.
It is dubbed. It's ADR'd. A lot of the lines they went into studio later because their mouths don't.
But it's not all the lines, right?
Match.
Like some of them are
it's some of them. It's like they could only afford one body mic, and so they were just shuffling it around to whoever was the most important actor. Anyway, it's called Unhappy Meal.
Yeah.
And I don't think this is licensed by
No,
McDonald's.
I was going to say that. It did not seem like they go out of their way to... I mean, they don't seem to care, but also it doesn't seem like McDonald's licensed it. You know what I mean? Like
there's nudity in this movie, and there's no way McDonald's. I mean, what was the last thing that McDonald's licensed for a movie that was like a big event in a McDonald's, right?
Well, it's like usually something in the background, or it's like Adam Sandler, right? Big Daddy. Right. I'm gonna go get McDonald's breakfast, and it's like.
Right, that was a big thing, and then they like changed when breakfast was to accommodate the movie. I don't know,
right.
But the one that always sticks out to me is the Mystery Science Theater movie Mac and Me, where they do the big dance
in
McDonald's with the aliens. But they after the failure of that, they don't typically like. I'm sure they have licensing deals with somebody where they're like eating an Egg McMuffin or something in the car crying. They probably wouldn't do that, right? Because there's no happy way to eat an Egg McMuffin outside of a McDonald's commercial. Like
nobody is not hungover eating an Egg McMuffin.
I'm just thinking it's like 9. No, that's when I get to the office every morning. 9:59. That's what I was about to say. That's my idea of an early rise.
With my fucking Egg McMuffin, I just think about how much I hate my wife.
But I'm imagining it's like 7:58 in the morning, and there's just this woman who's just crying. I'm imagining the female doctor, not Olivia Wilde, but the blonde lady on House, crying and wolfing down an Egg McMuffin.
Gotta eat something
knowing
for breakfast.
She has to go to her horrible job.
Get you going in the morning.
This is her one moment of joy, and she realizes as she eats the Egg McMuffin how horrible it tastes and how much diarrhea.
And it makes you feel worse. It doesn't make you feel better.
Feel worse.
Yeah.
It's not even good. That's the realization I had about McDonald's food the other day, is that like if I had my options of fast food, McDonald's should be the last choice, because it's not even that good. I mean, like maybe chicken nuggets are good to a certain extent, and maybe the fries are okay.
I think the fries, if they're
fresh,
immediately cooked, and
it's such roulette though. I feel like there's other, like we have Culver's in the area. If I'm gonna eat the stuff that's bad for me, go to Culver's.
You go to Culver's. All those nice children who love Jesus say hi to you. It's great. I love it.
What is it? Is it like In-N-Out, where it's like run by the?
Oh yeah. It's Christian as fuck. It's Christian as fuck.
Really?
Yeah. But that's why it's so delicious.
I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, there's lots of nice Christian people. No offense to Christianity, but it doesn't jive with my belief in Jokerism.
Okay.
Which I do.
Right, let's get back on topic of Unhappy Meal.
It's just I watched The Joker. Did I mention that earlier? It does this thing to my brain where I forget stuff. You mentioned it. Oh boy.
I don't know what it translates to in Bulgarian, because Bulgarian is like, it sort of looks like Russian. It's the same letters.
It's like Cyrillic alphabet with all the crazies,
like
doodads.
Huacto, Zapta, and it doesn't.
You know who has some real crazy writing is them Japanese.
Okay.
Well, Norm Macdonald's not here anymore. Maybe we should fill in for him.
Maybe we should talk about Joker.
Oh, don't get my ball rolling. I mean, I haven't seen it, but.
No, but as you were saying, they seem to ignore any rights at all. And I think maybe it was so under the radar that McDonald's
there's nudity in this movie.
Right.
There's a full-on sex scene.
Fair amount of nudity.
Where he's just banging this woman on top of a... I don't know what that... It's like the grill, but it's like...
Yeah, it's where they make it's a flat top where they make the patties. And luckily it's not on.
It's just like... No, it's not on. That's what I thought was going to happen.
Well, because he kills that guy earlier. He kills that guy earlier, and it is on.
He puts his face on it.
Yeah, he puts his face on it, and it is on.
The guy's face.
And then later...
Okay, can we talk fundamentally about the problem with this movie? which is that, I mean, there's so much going on that's wrong. I mean, first of all, it's a clear ripoff of Die Hard. Second, it's in a McDonald's, and they have all the McDonald's, like, they didn't tape up the signs or call it McDaniels or something. No,
it's McDonald's.
Or like they did in... It's clearly McDonald's. It's in the Bulgarian print and stuff like that, but it's like...
Yeah. It's the golden arches. It's everything.
It's clearly McDonald's. There's like a Grimace seat in a children's area. Like you can clearly see Grimace. It's got all the iconography of McDonald's. And
it's not old. It just looks old because it's Bulgaria. I mean, I don't know.
Dingy.
That doesn't seem fair to Bulgaria.
And it looks like... It's not like, of course, it's just like, I don't know if this is a late 80s, early 90s, or a 2000s
I'm saying, I think it's recent. I think it's recent. But I'm saying
that's crazy.
Everything in Bulgaria
so
is
gross.
Old.
I don't know anything about Bulgaria, so I can't confirm or
I might just be,
that.
I mean, I guess I assume...
You're pretty racist against Bulgarians.
No, I just assume, like... So I'm Croatian, so if it's like Croatia, it's like... It's the same
because they're the same because they're both places.
No, I'm saying I think
it's like
it's the
that's
Balkans.
How I think about it. Because if it's like Gotham City, then it's really dingy. But sometimes it's a little neon. That's like the main frame of reference I have. Sometimes the signs are in black and white. Sometimes that's all you got. Sometimes you got a blimp. Sometimes you got a bat helicopter. You know, it don't make perfect sense. That's Bulgaria.
Yeah.
So... basically, so this, I guess, if you haven't seen it, just like picture, like, it looks like a direct to VHS movie. This is not like, it doesn't look like high definition transfer. I guess it could be, but it looks like grainy.
Yeah, it's grainy,
like film. And like, so this is Die Hard in a McDonald's, right? That's the setup. So basically the setup is that bad guys take over this McDonald's, and there's like, it's kind of, I mean, it's a little bit, it's not perfectly Die Hard.
It's pretty much Die Hard. The main guy is German, and it's like, it's like...
Right. There's definitely a guy who's supposed to be Hans Gruber, and there's a hero who's supposed to be a Bruce Willis type.
Yeah.
But the thing that's different is that the main guy is not married to the woman inside.
Right.
She's just an employee at McDonald's who he has sex with on the grill.
Right.
As like a reward for saving her or something. I don't know.
It's romantic.
Like, it's a reward.
Kinda.
You thought it was romantic?
It is.
I mean,
he saves her.
It can't smell good in there for either reason.
I mean, it's like, if you think you're gonna die, you know, you get stressed out, and it's a release. I don't know.
Okay, but this is my problem with the entire movie is just a conceit. It was almost like they're like, we have this McDonald's. My dad is the manager of it.
Yeah, it was that. We own a location. We're going to film it here because we have the location.
It's being torn down tomorrow.
Yeah. That was the...
We're going to get Bulgaria's new McDonald's.
But that saves a lot of money on movies, is having the location... available. So it's like,
and you're the kind of guy who's when he's watching a movie, it's like, I hope these Bulgarians can afford this McDonald's.
Yeah, I'm very altruistic.
I know that about you. You're like, oh
Bulgarians.
God, the location costs for these Bulgarians. As a Croatian, I feel for them.
I'm sorry. I know you're just a white guy, but it's like,
I know. How can I relate?
You can't relate.
As just a regular Midwestern Gothamite.
And I don't know if Bulgaria was also part of Yugoslavia, and I don't think it was.
It doesn't matter if it was,
but I feel like
it
went through some sort of communism. That's what based on nothing, I assume.
I assume all of Eastern European is that one episode of The Simpsons where Lisa goes to like little wherever, and that lady is like jamming a squid up against the window of the glass. I assume it's all like that. That's my bias, and I have to wear that. So I'm not as woke as you guys all assume I am as the Joker.
As somebody who loves, you're not as woke as a person who loves Joker.
Loves the Joker and its views on society.
Okay.
Sorry, I got into my Joker voice a little bit. I wish I could say that I could control it, but
you can't. It's just It's just a tick now. And
The Tick, that was a good show. Could have had the Joker in it, but they went a different way with it. Griffin Newman, podcast royalty. So basically, I'm trying to get to my problem with the conceit, which is that, you know, like, okay, Die Hard, great movie, takes place at Nakatomi Tower, right?
Yeah.
And that's like a big location with many floors.
Yeah.
And places where it's got like a basement, it's got a parking garage,
Yeah.
it's got like, it's a huge tower in LA. When I lived out there, you could drive by it. It's on the Fox lot, really cool. But like a McDonald's is a single floor location.
And it has
they cheat and say it has a basement,
Yeah.
which I doubt
Yeah.
it really does.
Which clearly is a different location because it does not.
Yeah, of course
look
it
the
is.
same.
There's like
what's the
red
one other
explosive
location?
barrels down there. It's like, what's in those? Fry batter?
It's
I don't
probably
understand.
a warehouse where they got all the Bulgarian burgers.
Probably where they rented the film equipment. They're like, well, now that we moved it out, let's use it.
It's not a bad idea. That saves a lot of money too. But yeah, essentially, I mean, I worked.
You guys go to the McDonald's. That's our craft service. That's the best part of the movie.
Yeah, I worked at a McDonald's when I was like 13, and it was. I mean, it did look similar. There was like an employee lounge and like a place where all this.
What?
There was an employee lounge to sit in.
Oh,
to,
I was
take
like
your break
picturing like, I was picturing like the high-end airport lounge.
No, where they had all the
McDonald's.
hostages the entire time. Where all the hostages were that. That's the lounge area, right? And then there's like a place
like the
where they
break room, right?
The break room. Sorry, not
yeah, okay. Because like
They
'cause
called
in
it the
my head,
lounge.
When you say the lounge, it just makes me think that like McDonald's in its like limited real estate is hiding some nice place
No, it's
back
corporate.
there.
It's
It's like
just
we can't
corporate
let the
jargon.
common fucking riffraff.
Yeah, here's the it's just corporate jargon to make it seem like it's not a place where you go and get high.
You're on break. Get your bib and lobster in the lounge. You've earned your McFlurry.
Your one McFlurry meal that you get. I worked there for 2 weeks and then I quit. And I don't even think I ever got my paycheck because I'm like, I'm never coming back here again. I'm 13. What do I need to buy? I think is what I thought.
Yeah. You need to buy GameCube discs over and
No,
over.
I didn't.
That's what you need.
My parents bought me things. I was 13.
Yeah, that's true, right? Okay, so my point is McDonald's has very limited real estate. So it's like they're constantly finding excuse, like if there's a romantic scene in the kitchen, which is an open air space where the terrorists should be able to see them, they have like all the terrorists be like, hey, let's go around and walk the perimeter. So not just like one guard, but like all the terrorists leave the building.
Sure.
And you're just like, why aren't the hostages walking out now? And like, why isn't he taking this opportunity to save everybody?
Well, the premise is that it was like after some big Bulgarian holiday, and I don't even know what Bulgarian holiday it was. Like, I guess their New Year's or something, or not their New Year's, like their Freedom Day or whatever. So I guess that's
Freedom Day?
I don't know.
Or like Zoidberg?
Yeah, like Freedom Day. They said it's like their July 4th essentially. So everybody comes to McDonald's and that was when the most money was there, I guess.
That's the saddest thing. The implication that it's like, well, we've got all our riches, let's go to McDonald's to celebrate.
It's nice.
It's like the thing that's going to be the most punishing experience of the average American's day.
It's like Japanese people getting KFC for Christmas. It's the same thing. They go to McDonald's.
Yeah, but that really is a treat. As someone who ate KFC for dinner, that is like... And not just because Popeyes was closed. Okay, yeah, because Popeyes was closed. Yeah, because Popeyes was closed. Popeyes, I feel like, would be very easy to take over.
I think it's really easy to take.
Employees don't seem to care.
Right, that's the thing. If you have 20 terrorists and employees who get paid minimum wage in Bulgaria, mind you, I don't think they care. But for some reason, these employees really fight for their McDonald's, and it's very...
Well, that's the other thing, is that there's like... You need to have like a team of terrorists for your John McClane to take out, and it's just like... You don't need that many people to take over a McDonald's, but there's so many, and they keep on bringing more and more vans.
Yeah.
And the cops are just watching the terrorists get out of the vans and run into the McDonald's.
Cops do.
Okay, let's set this up. Let's set this up like plot wise how it happens. So there's this big holiday. People are like excited to go get their McDonald's after the big holiday. There's like a big holiday tree, but it's like not a Christmas tree. It's like some sort of festive Bulgarian tree that they've decorated with neon lights.
Yeah.
And it's really weird. And so this crowd is like swarming the register at McDonald's, and I feel like this is how you would sell it to McDonald's if they could get licensing.
Look how popular you are in Bulgaria.
People are like banging on the counter demanding Big Macs. One guy says, I want a Whopper, I want a Whopper, and then like 6 other guys are like, yeah, and the guy at the counter, it's like supposed to be a comedy beat, it's like, oh, we don't even have them. And so the crowd scene ends with, it's just one guy in the center, and there's like a little kid, and he like bumps into a guy, and he goes, ow, and he hits the back of his head against something on the guy's chest, and he turns around, and the guy opens his jacket, and at first I thought he was gonna flash him. I was like, this is gonna get real fucked up real fast.
Yeah.
But he pulls his jacket open, and he's got like a dynamite bomb. It's like stereotypical with like the LCD clock on it. He's got an entire LCD sound system strapped to his chest. And he's got this bomb on him, and then everyone screams and starts panicking.
Yeah, and they all shoot into the ceiling. Classic terrorist move.
Yeah, exactly. They start shooting into the ceiling, and then 2 vans roll up, and a bunch of these armed terrorist guys pop out, and it turns out that the guy wearing the bomb is like the Hans Gruber guy. And he takes the bomb off and like straps it to the little kid, and then he like pats him on the head like, this is yours now.
Pretty
Don't
dark.
You move.
And actually pretty cool.
Pretty
like a pretty cool scene.
Yeah, and so like the terrorists, like everyone, like half the people escape, but the terrorists come in and just sort of like bully them and like body them back in the building. Yeah. And they're like, so there's like 20 people in there, and they're like bullying them around, and they actually, this is the weirdest part for me, was that they actually shove some of the people into the play place that's attached to it.
Well, it's a good place to keep people because there's only 1 or 2 entrances, you know?
Right. And well, that's true. You can't get to the outside from it. So it's like a good glass containment thing.
Yeah.
But like, it's like Magneto's prison is what a good play place is. But they're like, one guy's like, hey, you can't do this to us. And he gets hit with the butt of his gun. The terrorist hits him with the butt of the gun. He falls into the ball pit. And the balls shoot up everywhere. And it's kind of funny, but it's also kind of terrifying.
Well, it wasn't supposed to be funny, but it was like...
Wasn't it? I can't tell what's supposed to be funny in this movie, because it's got a really weird tone.
Well, it was almost like... I thought it was like... He almost had the Wilhelm scream the way he fell into the ball pit. It's like, how high was the ball pit to make that many balls jump out?
And how did he not put his back to the ball pit and see this coming?
Yeah.
Like, maybe he wanted it. Maybe he wanted it. He was kind of into it. He's like, oh, no, don't do it.
I think it was insinuating that he drowned in the ball pit was the one. Like,
yeah, because he kind of did struggle. He was kind of just
he never comes up. You never see that guy again.
He wasn't mic'd, so you couldn't really hear what he was saying. And there lines were ADR. I found out what it's called. Yeah, you want to fight back, huh? How about you go for a swim? And he like hits him, and he falls back in the ball pit, and the balls go everywhere, and he's I'm
drowning in balls. It's called
coughing.
It's called Bulgaria Liberation Day, and it's Thursday, March 3rd. This year it's Thursday, March 3rd. But that was
real? That's a real thing?
That's the day they were celebrating, I believe, in the movie.
Okay, so Liberation Day, got it.
Yeah.
So anyway, you just with the scene called back a memory, like a real memory from my life at the Burger King nearest me as a kid.
It was taken over by Bulgarian terrorists?
Based on the food quality, yeah, maybe it was.
Hi-yo!
Because it was great. And Bulgarian terrorists,
Bulgarians are all great.
Bulgaria's
a great country.
Well, no, they're terrible people. Terrible. We all agree that. But
no, the terrorists are terrible people. Not the Bulgarians.
No, every Bulgarian scum. I'll say it right here. Bulgarians listening to this, get your act together.
I don't think on this.
Just pull it together.
I don't think on this second show you should like alienate a whole nation. I'm just saying.
Fuck them. That's what I say. Every Bulgarian. No, I'm just kidding. I love you Bulgarians and your
point to Bulgaria
cuisine
on a map right now.
Okay, we don't have time for that. I could do it. You
could do it. You just don't have a map.
Easily.
You just don't have a map right now.
I don't have a map.
Yeah, that's the.
Is it this here?
No, that's Egypt.
Okay, but ballpark. That's pretty close.
Yeah, it's probably close. I don't actually know either. So.
Okay, so we're all. So that's it. Let's just say that's it.
Yeah.
And the Nile is in Bulgaria.
And so
and
the pyramids,
Sahara, the pyramids,
the mummies.
This map has a drawing of the pyramids on it. I got it when I was 6. It's actually a map of a McDonald's play place. I'm now realizing. But no, you actually reminded me of when I was in Burger King. I was in the ball pit and I'm playing around, and I was so excited because I was like, I don't know why, but parents always acted like we're not staying here. We're not gonna. At least mine did. They're like, I don't want to go in the ball pit. It's gross. And so well, of course, no parent would want to do that. But as a kid, you're like, oh, yeah, it's like a bounce house. It's like, oh, so cool. I don't know why. It's just like brightly colored balls. The idea that you can just jump around and not get in trouble, I don't know what the attraction is. But like, I remember digging around in the ball pit. I'm like, I wonder how deep this rabbit hole goes.
Yeah.
Because I was really into the Matrix before I got into Joker.
When you were how old?
I was 21.
Okay, I was going to say the Matrix came out in 99 and you're...
I was 21. My parents were really upset. They're like, we were going to buy you your first beer, and you sure you want to go to this?
You'd rather go to McDonald's and McDonald's birthday. Burger King.
No, it's disgusting. This is a Burger King.
Sorry.
This is a story about a Burger King. It's normal. So, no, really, I was like, I don't know. I was like 6 or 7 years old. I don't know. I don't know what normal play place age is, but I was like normal play place age. It was probably in second grade. And I was digging around and I found a lighter in the ball pit.
Whoa.
And I was such a good little boy that I like brought it to my mom. I'm like, look what I found. And she's like, ah! So we were like, never.
Fucking narc.
I know. I should have just kept it, but I was too scared of stuff like that. I was way too scared. But I mean, I could have just lied, and then I could have gone.
How
there
did a lighter get in the ball pit? I think
teens hooking up.
Teens getting high. Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
Let's get high and jump in the ball pit. We're employees at a goddamn Burger King.
Where's my lighter, man? Oh, let's get out.
Where's my Whopper? I just got the munchies.
Oh boy.
Okay, so let's get back to the film at hand. So basically, the place gets taken over by hostages. There's like a dorky manager who wears glasses, and he's just sort of like bullied around. There's like there's like 2 female employees, and that our hero kind of flirts with. And like one's like, and it's unclear whether she's like an adult or a teenager because she's like. It's like a little, and it's like a little bit unclear why he's flirting with her.
It's a little uncomfortable.
And then there's just this like sexy vamp who, for whatever reason, works at the McDonald's.
It's and classic McDonald's workers.
She's got like a Cindy Crawford mole and like big poofy hair, and is like wearing her McDonald's outfit. And
Miss Bulgaria, 1999.
Or 2005. That's the thing.
Knows.
It's hard to tell when this came out. This movie came out after Shrek. Can you imagine that?
Right.
This is a post 9/11 film, and so there's an off-duty cop there, very diehard, and he, as this is happening, sidles over to get into a duct, which is just
right. The most diehard thing to do is to go hide in the ducts, and that's what basically he does.
They set him up as the like
he's a regular at McDonald's, right?
Right,
he's there all the time
because he literally is hungover. Because he was at like they set up during the sequence where they're at the whatever Wookiee Life Day of Bulgaria. They
Independence Day.
I have no respect for this Bulgarian tradition. Clearly, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Bulgaria. I'm sorry. I'd like to apologize for everything.
It's where they were free from the Ottomans. That's real.
They got taken over by footrests. That's insane.
Yep.
This is why I need to learn my history. Because sometimes
your Bulgarian history, you got to brush up on that.
Society, you don't get taught the rules.
Back to the movie.
Sorry. I sort of blacked out there for a second. So basically, like, he's part of this opening sequence. And he's like, I've been on shift all night. People just open their Bulgarian presents, and they gotta take their gift cards or whatever to McDonald's to get their breakfast. I don't know the tradition, but it's basically that.
It's a strange tradition, but that is the gist of it.
So he's been drinking all night in his cop car, and he's just getting off shift, and he goes in for his Egg McMuffin.
Yeah.
And he sees this happen, and he reaches for his gun in the sequence where it's happening, but he sees the kid with the bomb, and he like takes his hand away. Like, I got to think this through.
Yeah, and then he goes into the duct to think for a while and just plan it out.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like got his radio in the duct, and he's like calling out, and he's calling to his buddy at the station, and he's like, you got to get out here. Something crazy is happening at the McDonald's. And his buddy's like, yeah, right. You're off. You're drunk again.
His buddy's still wasted. He's like basically supposed to be the comic relief, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's like one of those things where it's like they didn't want to make our hero cop like such a fuck up because he was so drunk in the beginning. Like they're both drinking on the job, I'm realizing now.
Well, it's also like they were probably, I don't think those were like fake bottles either. I think they were just drinking on set. Like it doesn't seem like
their method. It's fine. This is what Jeremy Strong would do. I heard this fucked up thing about Jeremy Strong, by the way. I don't
know who Jeremy Strong is.
Jeremy Strong, he plays the main son on Succession. He's like the guy.
Kendall.
Yeah, Kendall. He plays
Just say Kendall Roy.
I forgot his name. I was thinking Connor, but I knew that wasn't it. So Kendall, he plays Ken, and there was this big New York Times piece about him. Depending on when you're listening to this, either a couple weeks ago or a couple years ago. So I'm covering my bases, right? Because that's how you have to do it in podcasts. It's not topical. It happened a long time ago.
A long time ago.
Man, I can't believe how that just happened. Or I can't believe how the second Civil War just happened. Oh. Wow. How's the second Trump presidency doing for everyone?
Yeah.
Knock on wood for that.
Still. There's still podcasts, so that's nice.
Yeah. For now,
makes you think.
Yeah, about the Joker. But my point is that I read this thing about Jeremy Strong, aka Kendall, and that like there was this big article about how like he does some crazy shit to prepare for his roles, right? I heard a rumor that like he's such like a fucking method nightmare on set that sometimes he'd take the script, right? Like actors normally get a script, but this guy would like take the script and stand in front of a mirror and like memorize each line that he has to say.
Wait, on set?
Like in his trailer, like he's like, oh, I'll go to my trailer where I get my makeup done. Like what a fucking diva. And like
that doesn't seem that crazy. That just seems like a normal actor stuff is memorizing
lines.
No.
You have to picture it in your head though. Like he's looking at himself in a mirror and he's like, oh, here's Kendall's line. I better repeat it over and over till I memorize it. Like it's so his lines are so important to him that he has to know them before he gets what actors to set.
Matt, that's literally what actors do. That's not crazy.
I think you have to imagine Jeremy Strong doing it, and then you'll realize
Jeremy Strong doing it is crazy because his character's crazy, and
it's
he's reading the lines.
Who do you think you are?
He's Kendall Roy. That's he's the actor.
That's what he thinks, right? Because he's like, oh, let me just say, oh, in this scene, I'm Kendall, right? It's like I just can't get over it. Just like the way actors are, you know? I mean, I was an actor for many years, but like I would.
Were you? Because you don't know anything about it.
I would never have done that kind of behavior.
Oh.
Like, if they were like, you should know this before you come to set, I'd be like, fat fucking chance.
It seems like maybe that's why you don't act anymore, is because
it's not the only reason. There were a lot of other issues that...
Are you saying it's society's fault, maybe?
I'm just saying sometimes the guy who's the director may actually be a criminal.
Oh, boy.
It's one of those inversions, like all the saints are sinners and all this. No sympathy for the Joker, like that song.
I don't. That was a long story that wasn't crazy at all, and I was really excited to hear.
That's
something
like
crazy
the nicest thing someone has ever said about one of my stories. To be honest, that was a long story that wasn't crazy at all, and then I found a lighter. So
yeah, and then you found a lighter. That story was fun. That story was interesting. But Kendall Roy just being an actor is
no. Okay, you have to. He's looking at himself in the mirror. He's not looking at Siobhan.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know how to explain it to you. That's not insane. It's just not. It's just
I disagree. I think you just have to think about it as this is like he's not really Kendall, so he's kind of fucking.
No, I understand that. I think what I'm saying is as actors just do that, and that's like pretty much.
I would never do that.
Most professional I'm saying
there was a point when I was on
many
the
actors
Eric
do
Andre
this.
show where they had to physically restrain me to get me to stop saying lines that weren't in the script, because that's how
Well, I
committed
thought you just had
I
one
am.
line.
I
You
know,
only one
that was the
line,
thing.
don't you?
That was what
But
they
wasn't
kept
that the
saying.
bit? That's the
That's
entire
literally
bit.
what Hannibal said to me over and over, and I was just screaming. And that's because I come prepared. I'm not just going to sit there and look at the script and repeat what it has to say. What I'm going to do
But that
is
ruins
come
the
up
bit. I
with...
thought
I mean, you sound like Eric. You sound like a real narcissist right now. And it's like, this is our...
I'm not trying to be. I'm not defending anybody.
I'm just saying, like, when I saw the Eric Andre show on TV, I was like, there's a guy who knows how to cut loose. I didn't expect some straight-laced nerd like you who is like, please, we only have so many hours to shoot. Could you please just stop screaming?
it
It's
just
hurting
sounds like
my
you're
ears.
very difficult to work with as an actor. It seems
I
like.
try to be.
And
I try to be, because you got to do something that makes you stand out in the biz.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a good thing necessarily.
Oh,
I feel like maybe
hello,
that's, maybe,
I'm Jeremy Kolar Strong. I'm just going to be a psychopath and read the words and use them in the scene.
Right. I don't
Do you
know.
think, I want to ask you this, if you're so fucking smart about movies, do you think a single actor in Unhappy Meal read lines or memorized them?
I don't maybe some, but I don't think they tried very hard.
It felt like in every scene,
And that's why the movie went straight to
no,
VHS
that had
in
nothing
Bulgaria.
to do with it. This would have been a major theatrical release, but they didn't get licensing for anything. That's my theory anyway. It's because
That actually might be true. Is that
they
never got
probably
licensing.
could have released this wherever they wanted, because I mean, if you look at, like, if it was early 2000s, entire early 2000s, it's like, was this really that much worse than Daredevil, the Ben Affleck movie? It's pretty much the same movie.
No, I mean honestly, at least it was more entertaining than Daredevil.
It was basically the same quality as Best Picture winner Chicago. So I mean, like, that's something you have to think
know
about.
if that's true.
I don't know if it's true either, but I've said it. So
it's
and
just
that's the kind of energy you need to have on set. It's like, think about what the words you said. You know, whenever I was just shitting all over Bulgaria, I didn't plan that.
Yeah.
I didn't think.
Right.
I don't even have strong opinions about Bulgaria, but I
Right,
said
so
it.
It just seems like you're creating conflict where none is necessary.
This is where Mel Gibson's podcast comes in handy, because that's what he said. He's like, when I was taken out of that cop car, when I called that female officer sugar tits, do you think I planned that, or was I just saying what was in my heart at that moment?
He wasn't acting; he was being himself.
Exactly.
I don't know what your point is.
But did you know that when he was doing that? Because he said, "I'm Mel Gibson. I hate the Jews." When he said that, allegedly, he always
did.
says
It's on tape.
Well, allegedly, the recording is on tape. But the point is, that's all him. And you don't get unfiltered truth like that if you're, I'm Jeremy Strong, and I'm going to read a word. Like,
I think he's really good in that show, though. He's entertaining part of that show.
incredible. He's incredible.
Yeah. Okay, so we agree then, I guess.
Yeah,
sort of.
He would be a good Joker, I think,
Yeah, he'd be a really good Joker. I can see that.
because of his face.
He's got that because his weird brooding, and he's always a broody little boy or whatever. He's a sad boy. Anyway, what were we talking about? Unhappy Meal.
Yeah, Unhappy Meal or something. I don't really remember. I just think about the Joker, and
It seems like you watched Impractical Jokers and Joker, and then forgot about.
I put
this movie completely.
I didn't want to reveal that, but when I put those on side by side, I played them super loud, and I also had this movie going at the same time. So there's some plot points.
So you didn't pick up. There's a lot of stuff you missed then. Okay.
Yeah, and I also don't really have that many strong opinions about Jeremy's strong opinions, but I just wanted to sort of distract from the fact that I didn't watch this movie very closely.
Oh, that's what you were. That's okay. See,
I was falling asleep a lot because it was hard. I was watching Joker all night.
Well, they
spend
a lot of time talking about killing hostages.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to pick them off
room.
one by one. I remember that. But they can't decide where to kill them. They're like, maybe we should kill them outside.
Well, this the problem with only having one room, because it's like it's going to make a mess if you kill them right there.
And there's
it's
like this weird
great, but then you have a mess.
Where like it's unclear why they're taking over. Like in Die Hard, it's like they're trying to get like gold, but
Yeah, they're trying to get into the safe.
political
It's
prisoners
the same
or
thing.
something, or that's like I forget.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I don't remember if
That's in
that's-
Die Hard 3, though.
I think there's
Or Die Hard
there's some
2.
aspect of it in the first one too, where they're like, I can't remember if it's just a stall tactic or something that Hans comes up with, but anyway, like the main guy, like there's this big thing where it's like, it's clear they're robbing the McDonald's. That's it. Okay, that makes sense. I'm putting it together now. So like, all the money is coming into the McDonald's because it's this holiday where they all spend the money. So it's not just that they're robbing
Yes.
a regular McDonald's. It's that
Yeah, they're doing it on a specific day
when there's
the
an
most money
influx
is
of
there.
cash.
Yes.
You'd think they would wait
like all
until
the classic heist movies.
after the money was all in there, but they sort of started at mid.
Well, I think they were
whatever.
also trying to hit the drunken people the next day who also were going to spend all their money at McDonald's,
right.
I guess.
Well, that's what I meant. It's like, yeah, maybe it's like a nonstop thing, and like if they hit it any time that day, they were just trying to do it before whatever. I'm not going to justify why the terrorists took over
Well,
the McDonald's.
it's also like, is German part of? Why is he German? Is that like
I
part
think it's
of,
just
of the
so he
Ottoman
can
Empire?
be like Hans, I guess.
I think it's so he can be Hans. His name is Anton.
Well,
Anton.
I think it's also just the like
His
he's
last
not Bulgarian. He's an evil terrorist who's like
Yeah.
German. So he's a Nazi
Yeah.
or something. I don't know what the connotation
his
is.
name's Anton, and the John
John McClane guy
character
is like
what's his name?
I don't know. It was either Chevy
Boris. It was Boris.
It was Boris?
Yeah, Boris.
Oh. I honestly thought his name was Chevy.
That might be his last name. They like
No, the
they
friend's you're right. The friend's name is Chevy. But it's not Chevy, it's Trevi. Like Trevi.
Oh, the
Fountain.
drunken
It's like
his cop buddy on the
his
radio.
cop
Yeah.
buddy. Yeah, it's like see, it's either Trevi or Chevy. I swear to God, I'm not making this.
Well,
up.
they say their
But-
full names, and then it's like their last name is some long surname that I can't pronounce.
Wait, so
it's like,
Boris is the main guy? I think that's why I couldn't stick because it's such a villain name.
Boris is not a good hero name.
And the chick he has sex with on top of like the flat top grill kind of looks like Natasha from Boris and Natasha.
Yeah, I don't
So
think
you're
her
like,
name is Natasha though. Thank
It's
God.
it's probably not Natasha.
Let me look it
I
up.
don't know what her name is. I'm pretty sure he doesn't know what her name is while they're making love.
Hold on.
All
look it
right, okay, but
Albina.
So
Albina is her name.
Albina.
Again, not
That
a
sounds
very-
like a drug I would take to regrow my hair.
it's not
That's a woman's
not
name.
the sexiest name. Sorry, Bulgaria, but
Sorry, Bulgaria. That should be the title of this episode. Sorry,
Sorry,
Bulgaria.
Bulgaria.
I'm
I'm
sorry. I'm sorry, Jeremy Strong. I'm sorry, Bulgaria, for everything Kolar has said about you this episode.
I don't. it's just not. It's not an attractive name. Either is Boris. to me.
So, yeah, that's not Boris and Natasha. So Boris and Natasha are banging. That's later. So basically, he's in the vent. He calls his friend. His friend is like, get out of here, you knucklehead. And he's like, Trevi, Chevy, get him
Trevi
back
Chevy.
here. And
yeah.
And so he's like yelling at him, and his friend just like goes to the water cooler or the beer cooler or whatever it is. I don't know. And so he's like stuck in the vents. He's trying to come up with a plan. He's in there and he's like eyeing the restaurant. And then they decide they're going to kill a hostage to show, put the fear of God in all the other ones.
Yeah.
And so that's when he starts to get involved at first because they decide. This is the weird part. This is what sent me off on this tangent is that the guy who's like the evil German, Anton is like, one of his henchmen is like, hey, we should kill her over here, in the kitchen or the back of supply room or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, no. That's where the meat is.
Yeah.
And he like
doesn't
makes
wanna-
this big point where it's like they're robbing for the money, but they also want to eat the food there.
Yeah. That was weird. He said that's where the meat is. I don't want to ruin the meat.
That's where the meat is. I don't want to ruin the meat. We got people to feed, don't we? And he like laughs. And so then he's like, well, where should I take her? Downstairs? He's like, no, I don't want you to mess up the interior here.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then he points to a statue of Ronald McDonald, or not a statue, a picture, a framed portrait of Ronald McDonald that's on the wall. And he's like, looks like he's already wearing enough red. And he like pats the guy's face, and the guy looks at him like, what? And so basically the terrorist takes the cute teen girl, right? Who's like
Yeah.
who works the cash register, and I don't know, but she's like, I don't know her name. I don't know anyone's name in this movie, but she's like the cute teenager. She gets taken out back.
Anastasia. That's an attractive name.
Yeah, it reminds me of the animated movie. But yeah, so he's got Anastasia. This terrorist takes her to the back of the building by the dumpster, and then somehow the vent connects to the outside, I guess just through the exhaust or whatever. And so our hero jumps out of the vent, and he like grabs the guy's gun from out of his hand. Very dangerous, not smart. And he starts choking him out with his own gun, and he snaps the guy's neck.
Yeah, and he has a gun. Like it's not like
I kind of get that. He didn't want to set up a gunshot that would make the other ones come, right?
I guess that makes sense. Yeah,
but I'm just realizing now he also doesn't fire the gun.
No, he finds creative ways to kill people, like burning that guy in the hot pan and then hot.
That's true. There's a big fight sequence later when they send a bunch of these guys out after him. And he's like running. They're like running around in circles, like the Three Stooges or something, in and out of the building, and everyone's like unsure of what's going on. And remember, this little kid still has the bomb on him, and they keep cutting to him. He's like, ah. And so,
they cut to that kid whenever they need a cutaway shot. They're like, well, here's this kid. He's still in danger.
It's unclear whether the kid knows he's in a movie, and he starts to think like the bomb is real. It's like he feels like he's the best actor in the movie because he looks really legit scared.
He's just a kid who doesn't want to be there.
But yeah, there's like a big fight sequence like later on where it's like before the rest of the cops show there, it's like basically he rescues her and he kills the guy. He's like, talk about an unhappy meal, and she's like, huh? Yeah. She doesn't laugh or anything, but he doesn't like let her go. That's the other thing. He becomes sort of a terrorist too, because like it's the right thing is for him to let her go, but instead,
go run away and tell the cops.
He helps her get back into the vent so she can help him. She's like, I want to help rescue my friends, I guess, but it's like just go.
Just what would help? Getting the Bulgarian police involved.
But that's the thing is like he's like. If I had a daughter, I'd want her to be something like you. And then he helps her get into the vent, but he kind of checks out her butt as he's doing it.
I don't want to disparage Bulgarian people, but it's very weird.
But let's just say it's a little Canadian, because that's close enough to Bulgaria on the map.
I don't know that.
They're pretty much the same place. Continent.
No, it's not even close.
But like down by Mexico. They're both Tokyo, Mexico, Bulgaria.
Right. So, but Hawaii. So she's in the vent, and then she doesn't really do anything in the vent, though. She sort of just like watches him.
Well, he basically crawls on top of her. He's like basically leaning and squishing.
It's not a big vent.
It's not. I mean, vents characteristically are not that big, and so
they fit one person.
But she sort of becomes his woman on the inside, so to speak, and she's like, "That's where they keep the potatoes," and he like nods at her, because then there's a point where. You notice that like fry slicing machine where they use fresh potatoes? I mean, they don't use that at McDonald's, but for whatever reason, they have it in the movie.
In Bulgarian McDonald's, they
do. They may have so many potatoes or something. And so he's like, he takes the guy's fingers and he like jams them into the machine. He's like, yeah, you're going to be the next French fry. And the guy's like, fuck in Bulgarian. And he's like, you're going to tell me what your plan is. He's like, oh, we want all the money for the thing. He's like, I knew it.
He tells him his plan. And then
he bonks him on the head with the machine and he knocks him out. And then that's when he sort of infiltrates the terrorists, right? Because he puts on that guy's outfit. He puts him in the freezer. He's like, no, I'm going to put you on ice. And he like puts him in the freezer.
And there's so many terrorists that the guy's like, well, maybe
they don't have a good sense of their team. That's the funniest thing. And he's just wearing a balaclava ski mask. And so he's just like, yep, it's me. It's like, hey,
that's him.
You smell like you changed colognes. He's like, just shrugs. And like, so he becomes part of the terrorists. And at that point, he's like commanded the girl. He's left his radio with the girl. He gave it to her back in the vent. He handed it back to her. He's like, keep trying, my buddy. And
keep talking to Trevi Chevy.
Yeah, and he's like, and so she calls Trevi Chevy, and she's like, she's like, hey there, mister. And he's like, oh, who's this? It gets his attention.
A lady.
And she's like, what do you have to say? And she's like, hey, I'm wearing something really skimpy. And he's like, oh, yeah? And she's like, no, there's terrorists in the fucking McDonald's. Get over here, you idiot. And he goes, that makes him. And he falls over in his chair comically. It's unclear how they didn't hear her while she was shouting in the vent. But, like, whatever. So
this movie does not pass the Bechdel test, to be fair. Like, at all, right?
It doesn't. I don't think the two female leads ever have a conversation in this. They share some glances in the beginning, but that's about it.
Yeah, but that's about it. And the glances are a little sexual, so it's like...
So while this is going on, there's, like, an exchange between Anton, you said? Is that his name? The German?
Anton is Hans Gruber. And Boris is John McClane. Yeah.
Right. So, well, the German guy is having an argument with the manager of the McDonald's, the nerdy guy.
Yeah.
He's like, the nerdy guy's like, you can't do this. Someone's gonna stop you.
Essentially, the nerdy guy doesn't know the codes. It's the regional manager or something, and he's just the manager of that store.
Right. Like, they have the cash on hand, but they've already put some of it into the safe from last night because they had so much money it was overflowing the registers or something like that, which just makes all the terrorists really like money horny. They're like,
money, I want the money. Yeah,
they become money gremlins based on our impression of them. Money. And so oh man, that just made me think of Joker. I'm sorry, just get there a little bit.
All right.
And
it happens.
He basically the Hans Gruber type, like, just he takes like the cash register drawer and he like slams the guy's fingers in it, and he's like, give me the money, give me the money, and he keeps bashing him over and over, and the guy's like fingers are broken and bloodied, and the kid is crying with the bomb strapped to him, and like it's real bad. And so then our hero sort of like almost gives himself away at this point to try to save the manager. He's like, hey, maybe we should sweep the perimeter, huh?
Yeah, he's had enough. Maybe we should sweep the perimeter. And Anton's like, I'm the boss. Why are you talking to me like that? He's like,
oh, sorry, boss. Sorry, boss. I just wanted to help.
Yeah.
But the other thing that's fucked up is he also kind of gives away his accomplice and puts her in danger. He's like, hey, I think we're missing somebody. Maybe we should go snoop around. And it's like, wait, are you trying to get her shot? Is this part of your plan? She could have escaped. She's the hero. Okay.
Yeah, is he actually a terrorist at this point? I don't know.
So he sends a couple of the guys out. He's like, yeah, go sweep the perimeter. And granted, this is a fucking McDonald's, so there's only like 20 feet to walk around.
There's not much to sweep.
There's not much to sweep. And so they go walking around in circles, and then like 5 minutes later, some of the cops show up. He's like, oh, go send a squad car out there. And so they see all these guys with guns. They get into a shootout outside, and then people on the street are screaming. And there's like, they're shooting the terrorists. A couple cops get shot. And so then they're like, mayday, mayday, it's really going down. So more cops swarming. Then it becomes a whole like media spectacle. Then it becomes really Die Hard, where it's like the building's locked down, and they're like talking. The Hans figure has like a megaphone from inside the store, and he's like talking to the cops from the glass. Like
he amplifies the drive-through speakers. What he does.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. He cuts into the drive-through line and then is somehow projecting it even louder.
Well, he has that, he has that electrician, like the black guy in Die Hard or whatever. It's the same guy, essentially.
Right,
who, is technologically advanced. And he's like, send the cops a message.
Through the friggin' Ronald McDonald drive-thru
And the message is, I'm going to kill all these hostages unless you give me the money.
And let us walk away scot-free. We want a helicopter to get out of here. They're like, we don't have a helicopter.
Well, first, no, they want the regional manager to come and open the safe.
Yeah. And they want like they want him to be set. It's like, we'll exchange one, hey, we got a pretty lady in here. We'll let her go if you, and so that's when there's a lot of something that doesn't happen in Die Hard. There's a lot of costume switching with our main guy, Boris. So
it's like Shakespeare.
Yeah, it's really weird. And so he's like, he sends the other guys around. At which point he's like, I'm gonna go check the basement, see if anybody is,
Yeah.
if anybody's sneaking away. And so he goes back into the room where he, like the break room where he, or I guess it's like the back. Yeah, it's the lounge.
It's the lounge.
He goes back
Thank
into
you.
the lounge, the chaise lounge, which was taken over by the Ottomans, and he goes into the vent again, and he's like, "Yeah, good work, you got the guys here," and then he like crawls on top of her to get past her because there's no room in the vent. She's like, "Ow!" Hey. It looks like the actress is in real pain, and then
Yeah.
he crawls back outside and switches back into his old clothes, and he goes and approaches his buddy, and he's like, Hey, I've been in there. I can get people out through the vent, but you got to work with me. It's like, well, they're saying they want the regional manager. He's like, I got an idea. So then he dresses up like the regional manager.
And again, the costume changes are not this like Clark Kent. It's like he's putting on glasses.
They haven't seen his face yet, but he like really goes on. Like he like gets like a little tie and a white shirt, and he like nerdies himself up a little bit, and he's like doing a full like it's unclear why.
Oh,
he's
you're right,
doing
because
this.
he's wearing that fucking mask the whole time.
Right, he's wearing the balaclava. So like they couldn't see that he was a terrorist in there, but like he was eating at the McDonald's in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, he was there at the beginning.
And he wasn't wearing a mask at the
stupid.
beginning. So they should know, theoretically. So he shows up, and this is where he has his like real one-on-one, face-to-face. I mean, he sort of talked to Anton or whatever in the beginning, but like, or with the terrorist exchange, but like, he comes in and he's like nerdy. He's like, okay, I'll open the keys. I'll open the thing for you. It's in the basement. It's like, go check it out. And you guys make sure he doesn't screw around. And the boss is like, I'll stay up here and watch the hostages. So then he takes him into the basement. And then when they're alone in the basement, he just fucking murders them with like hot oil and like kills them.
Yeah, I was waiting for the hot oil thing, and for some reason it happens in the basement where there's, I guess,
big
a
red
secondary
barrels
fry
of
machine.
hot oil.
Yeah.
They keep down there, and he like shoots one of them, and it just sets a guy on fire. He shoots the oil trail, and it goes another Wilhelm scream moment. He's like, "Oh!" and he's like on fire, and he's like, "Hey, what the hell's going on down there?" But he's getting scared. Everyone's getting scared. It becomes like a riot upstairs, and the boss is having trouble controlling all the hostages, and so he's distracted. That's when, basically, his plan is actually going really well, but like,
it's going very well.
That's when the teen girl employee like
gets her own idea, which I thought was probably my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, but she kind of does like a Slave Leia thing on the German guy. I mean, not in the outfit, but like she grabs like
because she's dressed as the Grimace. That's what I was gonna say. She looks like
yes,
like she's Slave Leia Grimace.
She puts on a Grimace outfit. I don't know why she does this.
Well, I think it was just supposed to be a distraction. Like that was her idea. Was like, oh, I'm not doing much anymore. I guess I should distract.
They'll know my
with...
face. They'll know who I am unless I wear this. But like, it's a big cumbersome outfit, and it like totally undermines the scariness of the moment. So she's dressed like this big purple Grimace, and she grabs. They have like a landline phone, and she grabs the landline phone and wraps it around the Hans Gruber guy's neck, and she starts choking him.
Slave Leia.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant by Slave Leia. And she's like, ah, 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 and she starts trying to choke him, but he elbows her in the stomach and easily overpowers her and rips off the Grimace mask. And he's like, well, so you're the one that got away. And like now he's got her. He's like, you're gonna be my little sidekick. And so now he's not letting her out of sight. And she's in real deep shit, and it's kind of meanwhile there's this action sequence going on in the basement, and it's just like he's throwing stale buns at these bad guys like they're throwing stars, and like
it was cool. I like that.
He shoots,
but again, I don't know. But the tone of the movie is like super dark, right? Like the tone is like
I don't know if it's supposed to be funny, but it felt funny to me.
No, it was funny, but like it wasn't. I don't think it was supposed to be. I think it was like very. I don't know. It was weird.
He takes like a handful of onions and he like throws them in the air, like shredded onions, and in the distraction he shoots a guy. I don't know why he just didn't shoot him. Like the onions aren't that distracting. It's like supposed to be like John Woo Snow or something, but it's just onions.
It's interesting.
They don't like hang in the air.
It was basically he was like used all the ingredients to make a Big Mac, and then like if like this Like they
I
really
didn't realize
like
that, but those were
McDonald's.
all the ingredients of a Big Mac. He literally shoots a guy in the eyes with special sauce. And the guy's
Yeah.
like, ah! Like it's burning his eyes. Again, there's no way McDonald's could have written on this.
But again, it's like whoever wrote this really likes McDonald's. Like it's sort of like a love letter to McDonald's in a way.
It's written by somebody who loves McDonald's clearly, but has no idea of how corporations protect their brands.
yeah, they did not understand that they have
Like,
no
they're
rights to
gonna
any
love
of
this. I used every part of the cow, literally, on this one.
Yeah.
So
But he goes back upstairs.
yeah, and he's like peeking out from the kitchen, and he sees, oh no, she's in the thing, and then but that's when he catches the eye of like the sexy vamp lady who's like
Albina.
Albina, the Cindy Crawford of the place, and he pulls her back, and she's like, who are you? Wait, I saw you. She knows him. That's right, she knows him because he's a regular.
He's a regular.
So she's
goes,
like,
"Boris?
what are you doing here? I didn't. You're Boris. I know you. You went out with my sister one time, but then you dumped her
Yeah.
because she wouldn't drink
Yeah.
with you. No one
Yeah.
can keep up with you, you lush. What are you doing here?" He's like, "Well, if you didn't know, I'm a cop."
I'm here to save the day, you stupid Albina.
Well, fat chance, nice job you're doing with that. Look at the situation we're in. She's about to die. And he's like, oh, fuck, I fucked up. And then they just start, like, making out. Like, I don't know why it happens. Like, they're supposed to
Well,
be...
they make out and then he says, "Say hi to your sister for me." And it's like,
Yeah.
why aren't you helping Anastasia and when you're making out? It doesn't make
It's
any
like
sense.
they're both so hopped up on the tension, and it's set up so quickly. Like they're regulars, they know each other. He dated the sister, and then they just start
dated
fucking
sister.
on the open, like, the oven thing. The
flat top.
The flat top. They keep and trust me, she's not a flat top.
And there's still like there still has to be skin from the guys he killed there earlier, right? Like
Yeah.
it still has to be like hot from
Because he just had this fight sequence down. Yeah, for some reason, there's like, that's the thing that doesn't make sense, is there's the kitchen at the back of the restaurant, then there's a back room, then there's a basement, and then there's like a second kitchen in the basement where this fight scene and the
kitchens.
sex is taking
It's
place.
very weird.
It's like a double decker. It's a Big Mac of a restaurant.
It's a
There's
busy
two
McDonald's.
buns and two, and both those buns are on the flat top, and
Special
they're
sauce,
getting
special
busy.
cheese.
On a sesame seed bun. He's like, let me give you my special sauce. And like, that could be a line in this movie because it's like,
Yeah, he doesn't say that, thank God.
Thank
but
God.
he's
he's too sensitive and romantic to say that. We both know that.
he says he says say hi to your sister for me.
Yeah,
He's
but
a
that's
dick.
still kind of romantic.
Maybe he literally meant say hi to your sister for me. Like maybe it's like no hard feelings. Say
Yeah,
hi
but
to
he's
her.
saying that as he's pulling his pants back up. And he's like,
yeah, maybe not.
He's like,
I don't know.
She kind of looks like, maybe I will. Yeah, maybe my
I will.
sister
I'll
messed
say hi to
out.
my sister.
And it's basically it. That's all the romance in the movie. But like we see her
It's
nipples,
Bulgarian
like for some
romance.
reason, she still is topless in this movie. It's weird. And I mean, like he's I thought he would be like really shriveled and Neil Breeny, but he was actually kind of jacked too. He looked pretty ripped.
He's a built guy. He's pretty.
He's not
strong
super
guy.
tall. He's
like,
sort of like a Bruce Willis, like, or Wolverine type.
yeah. I mean,
hairy
he's not as
but
ripped as
powerful.
Wolverine, but he was like either he doesn't eat much or he's like takes care of himself.
So he goes back up. He gets his terrorist costume again, and he peeks his head out.
I think that's the 5th costume switch, not counting when she changed to Grimace.
And not counting him pulling his pants off and back on just now.
Oh yeah, I guess
And
that's still technically a
it's
costume
so
switch.
he. I mean, based on the amount of sweat, there was probably a literal costume switch there because that was insane.
Yeah.
It was a very sweaty base, and they're like having sex while all these bodies are around them. By the way, like they did not do a good job of
The
cleaning
heat of the
up.
moment. It's the heat of the moment, man. What are you
Yeah,
gonna
it's
do?
like Speed,
Yeah.
With the drug, not the movie.
right, because they don't have sex on the bus in that movie, unless they do. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, well,
They have sex on the
taller.
boat in Speed too.
Yeah, with leeches. They have sex with leeches. While Green Goblin watches. And he would be a great Joker. And basically, he gets back upstairs. Cindy Crawford lady is safe in the basement after being ravished, and
Yeah.
he's like I gotta save her. So he like puts his balaclava back on, and he's like hey boss.
Well, at this point, all the
there's
other
been a
hostages
problem.
he's helped all the other hostages escaped, right? So it's just fucking young Anastasia Grimace who's still
Right. A
still
bunch
being held
escaped
hostage.
during the confusion with all the
Yeah.
gunfire and stuff. Someone got shot. I think the manager actually is the one who dies in the movie. He's like the only of the hostages.
Yeah, he's like the
gets
cocaine
shot.
guy in Die Hard.
He gets shot through the basement, the floor. The bullet comes up from the terrorist who's shooting upwards, and he dies and bleeds out. Everyone starts panicking.
Yeah, it's kind of a needlessly.
Yeah, it's stupid.
He needlessly dies. Yeah.
It's kind of the hero's fault. So basically, the hero goes. He's like, "Hey, we got a problem down here." He's like, "I'm a little busy here," and he's like, hey, "Wait a minute, I don't remember you going downstairs." He's like,
Yeah.
"Well, I don't remember that girl here. Where'd she come from?" He's like, "What are you talking about? Who do you think you work for?" He's like, "I should be the boss." And he starts getting in this, like, it's kind of funny, I thought. He starts getting into, like, an argument with the terrorist about who should be the leader of the organization, even though
Real
he's not really a
mindfuckery.
terrorist. And so at some point, the terrorist throws the teenager on the ground. She hits a table, and a knife almost hits her in the arm or in the leg, and she grabs it, and while they're arguing about who should be the real boss of the terrorist group, she stabs him through the back into the shoulder. He fires his gun off. Our hero takes one in the arm too, and then it becomes like this scramble where they're trying to get like whoever's still left in the building. They're trying to like they realize they think the bad guy's down for the count, right? Like he's sort of like, and he falls to the ground, and they're like, oh shit, the bomb on the kid. He's about to go off.
Yeah.
And he's got like 5 seconds or 5 minutes left on the thing. And so they start, instead of just taking the jacket off, they decide they have to defuse it.
Yeah.
So
rather than just clearly take it off, because they just put it on. It's not like it was like,
yeah, we saw
this
them
bomb's
Velcro it on
armed,
the kid in the beginning.
and if you try to take it off, it'll explode. He never even says that. It's just a bomb.
So
it's like a vest bomb.
He's basically trying to like hotwire this bomb to stop exploding, and it stops with 1 second left, like they always do in these movies.
Right, and then
she's like, "You did it,"
Anton
and she kisses him on the cheek, and then Anton, the German guy, comes,
and he says, my favorite line of the movie: "Quit clowning around while he's standing next to the Ronald McDonald sign."
That's so stupid.
Did you even? It's so stupid.
And so he's like, quit clowning around, and then he
what
like,
does that mean?
I don't know. It felt like it was a moment for the trailer, but it happened like way too late. It's like, you've already been stabbed, dude.
Yeah.
And
what do you mean quick?
It's like, I knew you were never part of my team. It's like, no, you didn't. He fooled you the entire time, dude. He's like, I knew it the whole time. There was something suspicious about you.
Yeah.
And so he's about to finally, like, the building isn't high up, and they have no way of accessing the roof without going outside. And so he's just like, drop your weapon, or else I'm going to shoot you and the kid. And so he drops his weapon. He's got him dead to rights. And the bad guy grabs him, and he like puts his head against the glass, and he's like, say goodbye. I don't remember what he says, but he's just like fucking.
It was. I couldn't stop thinking about that clown line.
Yeah, exactly. See you later, clown.
He should have said it there. He should have said that line there. Like, that's enough clowning around or something.
And that's when Chevy Trevi drives his cop car through the glass.
Through the glass,
Which is also stupid as fuck, because his buddy's back is against the glass.
Yeah,
he hits both
He's
of
not
them.
a good cop.
He hits both of them
luck.
and breaks both of their legs, I think. Because in the end of this movie, our hero is on a stretcher, as everyone's thanking him for his great deeds. They're like, he's like on a stretcher going to an ambulance. But they both get knocked down, and they're like basically like, they can't move. And the cop's like, hey, are you all right? He's like talking to the teen and what's his name? Not Bruce. I keep thinking Bruce Willis, Boris. But he's talking to Boris. Hey, are you all right? And the bad guy Anton is like about to lurch back up, but she fucking stabs him again in the throat. She fucking cold-blooded.
Classic bad guys. You can't kill them.
And the most fucked up thing is that like for that whole thing, the Cindy Crawford chick was just down there in the basement after he had sex with her. Just didn't see any of this. I guess it's to her best, but there's a bunch of bodies down there. And so, yeah.
She's got to hide somewhere.
That's like the end of the movie, right? Is like he's in the stretcher being put in the back of the ambulance, and they're like, "Hey, you did good. I'm sorry I didn't believe you." He's like, "Oh, that's all right, pal." And then she says, the chick he had sex with comes out, and she's like, "Hey, I called my sister. She said she'll give you another chance." And he's like, "Nice. She's hot."
Yeah.
He doesn't even like.
I thought for sure he was going to say, "I'm loving it." I'm like, that's such a classic.
Perfect.
Yeah. But again, it's like, maybe at that point, do they realize they don't have the rights? Like, that's where they draw the line?
I guess.
It's like, but instead he goes, "Yeah, she's a hot lady. I can't wait to talk to her."
And maybe, and then she starts to walk away. And he's like, "And maybe I'll call you too." And she like giggles. Yeah. And it's like, wait, you can't have sex with both of them. What are you doing?
But it's like, she was like not the love interest.
Say,
really?
You know, have it your way, you know? And he does have his way.
That's Burger King.
Oh, fuck. So close.
Yeah.
I guess that's why they don't say that either. Although I wouldn't put it past them.
It would have made just as much sense. Because it's like, yeah, it's so stupid.
And you know what her name, that name of that actress is in real life, though? Is Wendy's Jack in the Box. So it all comes full circle. Okay, that part's not true. The rest of this...
That's not true.
The rest of this very much was true, though.
I would give this movie... I mean, for being shot in 4 locations, including, like...
Yeah. The warehouse doubling as the basement.
Like, some of the violent practical effects were, like, fairly entertaining.
Yeah, it was like Miami Connection. It was, like, perfect.
Yeah. Well...
Same level of violence.
Perfect as Miami Connection.
Same level of nudity, but it lacked the musical
the subtlety.
Brilliance. Yeah, it lacked the subtlety. And the From Here to Eternity make out on the beach. And so for that, I'm going to have to give it a C-. Sorry.
I would say like 6 out of 10. 6 out of 9.
6 out of 10. On
6
top
out of 10
of the
nuggets.
Flat top.
I give it 6 out of 10 nuggets.
Which is, if you go to that McDonald's, how many they'll give you if you order a 10-piece.
There's only 6 in here. You get what you get. It's Bulgaria. You're lucky to get anything.
Whoa! This is like McNugget tithing. I don't care for this. So yeah, that's basically on Happy Meal. If you see it, it's all on. I think it's on Tubi. Almost all these movies are on Tubi.
On Tubi or Sling, maybe.
Hard to find, but if you do end up watching it, let us know what you think. I'm Shorster on Twitter. Mike is at Mike Kolar, correct?
Yes, correct.
And so if you'd like to suggest a movie for us to do, just write to us, give us the title of it, tell us what genre it is and what's the log line of it, and we'll look it up from there. And this has been Made Up Movies. Thank you so much. And I just want to say it's so much fun doing a show with your best friend, but we live in a society, and sometimes it's the cops who are the real robbers.